fight's not over.
Stop the fight!
People.
Everybody, I come here for everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ. I'm the king. Kill everybody. Ah!
All right, guys, welcome back to Broke Bets. Just coming off of the UFC Singapore card. Got my guy Carson here with me.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to this Paris card.
Got some good fights. We'll recap our bets on the last event at the end of the video. We went positive by 0.08 units, so yay, winning streak. First fight, though, Zarah Fairn versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. I'll take Jacqueline in this matchup, and I don't know if Fairn can make this weight. I think it's very debatable. It's kind of crazy that Joselyne Nunes, like a little bridge troll, is fighting at 145 versus Fairn, but then this fight's at 135. It's kind of just bizarre. I think that Fairn has horrible head movement, no head defense, and the only reason she really looked that good versus Joselyne Nunes was because she had like a giant reach advantage and height advantage, and that kind of just a little bit negated in this fight. She's got really bad hips. There's a chance she'd get taken down. I think that Cavalcanti could get a knockout. I'm going to say round 2 in this fight. I just don't think Fairn looks great.
Yeah, I mean, Fairn hasn't made 135 since 2017. All of her other fights were either catch weight or 145. So, yeah, I'd be interested to see if she can make this weight. And, I mean, she's only 6-5, man, and still fighting in the UFC. That's strange to me.
Like, how are you still in? I mean, it's like a featherweight thing. Like, when's the last time we watched a featherweight women's fight? It's been a fucking while. And Jacqueline, I feel like she's just gonna have a little bit of a power edge here as well. And yeah, so you can put the old lady down. 10-year age advantage. That's also statistically playing into it as well. So Jacqueline KO round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Farid Basharat versus Kleydson Rodrigues. Got to do with the pros. I mean, both these guys are good. I think Kleydson Rodrigues not making weight at 125. He's coming up here to 135, and he'll probably fit in the division pretty well. But I think Basharat is the better prospect in this case, and this dude's grappling is just it's hard to deal with. And Kleydson Rodrigues has like a good double leg and stuff and some of his own good grappling, but it wears on him. Watch that CJ Vergara fight back. This dude is tired in round 3, and I think Basharat is going to just take him down, control him. I think we'll see a second round submission. Most likely Rodrigues lays on his back for round 1, and then like second round gets taken down again, lays on his back, tries to get up, and gives up a position that leads to a submission. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I like Basharat to control him on the ground here. I mean, we just saw how good Jamon Blackshear was on the ground against Bautista and Jose Johnson, and Basharat got the better of Blackshear in their previous fight. And for Rodrigues, I mean, he was kind of controlled by Vergara for a little bit in their fight too. So him up a weight class, he's got that extra weight of Basharat on him. I think Basharat will be able to take advantage of him on the ground here.
Right. We didn't know much about Damon at the time of that fight. Just kind of shocking. The odds were like minus 400 if you look back on it. Right. A little steep. And then along with it, I think Basharat got a little bit tired just due to the size of Damon. I think Damon makes one of the biggest weight cuts probably at 135. The dude's pretty huge. But the striking will be...
He was able to do it at back-to-back weeks, though, so...
Yeah, true. The striking will be interesting. Rodrigues, pretty solid kicks, pretty solid hands, but I think the Basharat brothers just have such great defensive striking and a good jab Farid brings to the table. And yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle for someone like Kleydson. So Basharat submission round 2. Okay, for the next fight, I'm going to butcher this first name. Morgan Charriere, I think it's that, versus Manolo Zecchini. Gonna take Morgan in this fight. What I've seen of Zecchini is this dude does two things. He does an inside leg kick, and he throws the right hand, and that's all I've really seen. I don't want to shit on Italian mixed martial artists, but they don't seem to make it as far in the game, and not fighting the absolute top tier contenders or whatever in his regional fights. So I think Morgan here, I don't love him as a fighter because he's kind of gun shy and he'll keep the pressure on people, but not really throw those finishing blows. We'll take him by decision. I think this could be a fight where Zecchini starts fast, slows down, and then Charriere just takes over rounds 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's exactly how I see it as well. If you look at Zecchini, he has 8 first-round KO victories here. So most of his wins are in that first round and are by KO. But for Morgan, he's never been finished by KO. He's been submitted once, and most of his losses are by decision. So I like his chances the longer this fight goes. You see on his record, he's got a couple split decisions. So, yeah, like you said, he is a little gun shy and doesn't have the volume that you like to see to win those decisions. But I like him in this fight, especially against Zecchini.
Yeah, Zecchini too, like throwing haymakers in round 1 and then missing bad. It's just not gonna last in the gas tank, I don't think. And then, like I said, like Morgan, this dude's has people right up on the fence. That's his game plan. He pushes you to the fence, but he does so much staring, and he like tries to cut off the cage, but he doesn't put the strikes in to land a lot of those finishing shots. So don't really know how I feel about this one completely, but we'll take Morgan here by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Taylor Lapilus versus Muin Gafurov. I'm taking Taylor here. Gafurov, this guy is a kind of a cage grappler in a way where he's going to shoot his takedowns, not really set those takedowns up either, and push towards the cage. And Lapilus brings a Muay Thai-like style and decent takedown defense, and I think that the striking ability will at least show on this Lapilus side. But obviously the scare, a little bit of that grappling. So yeah, Lapilus by decision is what I think is going to go on here.
Yeah, I mean, Gafurov's going to use that crouch sniffing, wrestling heavy approach. He's got on the feet, he's got some wild spinning attacks, like the spinning wheel kick. And his last fight, his last fight against Castaneda, his leg got chewed up quite a bit. But he throws those stupid, wild overhands, which is hard to watch. Yeah, it's not very technical at all. And his corner will be yelling, "Oh!" every time he's throwing them. So I like Lapilus here to stop those takedowns and be a better technical striker and win this on the feet.
Something that really surprised me about Gafurov was for all the hooks he threw in the Castaneda fight, somehow when he misses 100 of them, he still had a decent gas tank for round 3. I mean, he was tired, but he fought through it. It was like a Dreykus Duplessis situation. It's hard to trust either person again here, but yeah, Lapilus also is having the experience advantage being in the UFC before. And Gafurov, even the Contender Series, Chad Elder got held down by I can't remember that, Haile Alatang in his most recent fight, so not the best look. So
yeah, I mean, Gafurov's never been finished before, so I don't really see Lapilus being able to finish him here.
An overplay might be pretty live there, so Lapilus by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Ange Loosa versus Rhys McKee? I don't even know how to say that name. Rhys McKee? I've heard it before, but I've been fucking it up. Ange Loosa, gonna pick him. Technically, this guy checks a lot of boxes, and I'd say the one thing he really doesn't have is that much power. I'm going to take him by decision. Rhys McKee has shown that he can eat the punches and kind of keep moving forward. And he leaves his head out there a little bit far, and a jab just can pick this dude apart. He's got pretty good power, and that length will just, create a lot of problems for these guys. But a kill kick guy and Ange can mix in grappling, a good jab, very good defensively. I mean, this dude didn't get knocked out by JDM or Munir Lazez, who's a very threatening striker, and he got hit by a lot of strikes in that fight as well. So I just like him to touch and move in this fight and win.
Yeah, I mean, McGee's never won a decision before. Most of his wins are by KO and in that first round as well. But yeah, like you said, Losa's super tough. JDM didn't finish him. That was probably JDM's toughest fight besides his last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Losa's super tough, and I think he'll be a better technical striker here.
Yep, I don't really have any more notes for this one. So Ange Loosa by decision. Okay, for the next fight we have Joselyne Edwards versus Nora Cornolle. Gonna take Joselyne Edwards. This girl just seems to use a better volume than most of the chicks she fights, and it's a big reason why she's getting these most recent decisions. She's also quite a bit younger than Cornolle, and I think Cornolle just doesn't seem to have the volume in her striking. And the one way I could see Nora winning, I mean, she can compete in the stand-up still, but is the takedown. So I like Joselyne Edwards by decision just because she leg kicks like a motherfucker. Not with any power, but 100 million times. And then, yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Edwards, she's missed weight in her last two fights, but won both those split decisions. So she's got the more experience. Despite the age difference here, Cornhole is 34 years old, but she only has 7 pro fights, and I mean her first one was in 2021, so they're all pretty recent here. So give me the younger Edwards with more experience. I think she can win this decision here. And for Cornhole, I mean, she's finished all of her wins as well, so be interested to see how her cardio holds up as this fight goes on.
Yeah, Cornhole, Nora Cornhole. She also she's fighting like these girls that do not seem like they're in her weight class when I watch them. Just like 5'3" girls, and she's 5'7", and she's just kind of she ate a lot of punches too from some of those bitches. So yeah, give me Joselyne Edwards. She just needs to stop the takedowns. That's kind of the story of Joselyne Edwards' career right now. Okay, for the next fight, we have Volkan Oezdemir versus Bogdan Guskov. Gonna take Volkan Oezdemir. This guy is not... I actually think he's one of my least favorite fighters just because he doesn't really fight to win. He fights to not lose, or fights to not get knocked out or embarrassed. I just feel like his experience, though, he's kind of hard to hit in a way because he's on the back foot up pretty often. He's hard to take down, but also Paul Craig doesn't know how to shoot a takedown, so that plays into that as well. Makes him look a little better. And this Bogdan guy, he's fighting a lot of cans, man. A lot of dudes with big beer guts, and seems to have pretty good power, that knockout power, but Volkan Oezdemir survived some punchers before. I mean, got slept by Jiri, we all know. But he's made it to decisions with a lot of other fighters, so I like this one to go the distance. I do have a bet on the over 1.5 as well.
Yeah, I mean, for Guskov, most of, again, him making his UFC debut, and most of his wins are by that first round finish. And Oezdemir, since that Jiri fight, I mean, he's shown pretty good durability. In the Krylov fight, it seemed like he was hurt and could have been out of it, but he was able to survive a lot of that and made it to a decision. So, yeah, I think Oezdemir can take over as this fight goes on, and Guskov guesses out.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by this line as well. I mean, like I said, Oezdemir's nothing crazy, but as the fight goes on, I mean, the thing that might just be the difference maker is that Bogdan is going forward and Volkan is moving backwards and not being as active, but I don't see anything particularly special on Bogdan. I might eat my words because he might come in and have a great performance. Seems like he's gotten in better shape throughout his fights from what I can see, but the YouTube footage doesn't seem to be all too great. So, Volkan Oezdemir by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Yanis Ghemmouri versus Caolan, Loughran, however you pronounce it. Gonna pick with Loughran here. Feels like he has a great build for 135. He's short and stocky. Looks like he cuts a good amount of weight. And he's just one of these guys that when you look at him, you know he's going to be so hard to take down and hold down, which is a little bit of Ghemouri's game. These short, dense guys just have great hips, and they're so freaking fast, it's hard to hold them down. And there's been a trend with Loughran, and second round knockouts, he seems to get his pace, do some good damage to his opponents in round 1, and finish the fight in round 2. So I like the second round knockout. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. Yeah, for Yanis, I mean, he's got a good leg kick and will grapple a little bit. And he throws that lead left hook quite a bit as well. But for Loughran, yeah, like you said, he's really short and stocky. He showed pretty good takedown defense in his last fight. Which, yeah, I mean, in this matchup, I don't really see Yanis being able to take down Loughran. And then he's got like a chin like Drew Dober. He's willing to eat one to give one, and I think it goes into one of those exchanges in the second round, and he's able to knock out Yanis.
Yeah, he has a pretty decent high guard. Keeps his elbows pretty high, but then doesn't have the best head movement, so he kind of eats punches through his guard from time to time.
I mean, yeah, he's got a high guard, but after he's throwing strikes, he doesn't like bring it back to his head. He'll leave his hands out,
right,
far away from his head.
My thoughts on Ghemmouri were that he seems very patient. Like, he just sits at range, and this is the scare for this fight. Is he just sits at range and touches people, and I just don't think he does enough damage. When he gets takedowns, he doesn't seem to do any ground and pound. When he's in the striking, he's too timid to commit to a big punch. And I don't know, it's not something that you want to see in a fighter, but he might just be one of these guys. He might be like the French in World War II, just be pussies. Sorry, guys, but it's the truth. And yeah, we'll take Loughran by KO round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Benoit Saint-Denis versus Thiago Moises. I'm going to go with Benoit Saint-Denis. Again, this is kind of I feel like Thiago Moises is one of those guys, again, kind of how I described Volkan Oezdemir, where a lot of the times he fights to survive and not to win. And Benoit Saint-Denis, I think he's one of these really big 155ers. He tried to fight 170, was just a little bit too small, came down to 155, and now he's huge. And Ismael Bonfim, that performance was phenomenal for the hype behind the Ismael Bonfim. And Saint-Denis can mix in those body kicks. I don't love that he keeps his head on the center line a lot. He can be very hittable. But the grappling will be interesting. I think he's going to be stronger than Moises, but it's going to be hard for him to finish this fight. With that being said, I'll go with Saint-Denis by decision. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's found a home here in this lightweight division. And his UFC debut is at 170, and lost that fight. And then he's 3-0 as a lightweight. So, yeah, like you said, he's found a home here in the lightweight division. And yeah, I just think he'll be a little physically stronger than Moises here. And in a close decision like this, I think, especially with that home crowd in France, I think they'll obviously be on his side, and that could play a factor with the judges here.
They love him too because he's like a military guy too. He was in some special forces shit, so like they're going to really get behind Saint Denis. Also, what was I going to say? Moises, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to do enough damage, and we've seen how tough Saint Denis was in the Zaleski dos Santos fight, that it's going to be hard for Moises to try to finish this guy.
Yeah, and those were taking punches against the 170er.
Right.
He ate all those.
All right. Benoit Saint Denis by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have William Gomis versus Lucas Almeida. Taking William Gomis, just a very good range striker, and he's hard to hit. That's just me a big part of it. I think Almeida's going to be hitting the air a lot of this fight, because he just swings those wild hooks. And Gomis as well, Sambo background, and if he wants to, he can take this fight to the ground probably whenever he wants. And he should, because Lucas Almeida got kind of destroyed by Sabatini, although Sabatini is very strong and whatever. But I do feel like Gomis will win the decision here. He's not extremely aggressive, uses those kicks to the side and keep distance, and makes his opponents miss. So, yeah, Gomis by decision.
Yeah, Gomis has good range management. I saw that especially in the Francis Marshall fight. Marshall really struggled to get inside and land strikes on him. But yeah, I mean, Gomis, I think he should definitely be able to take advantage on the ground here and win a decision.
Yeah, I'm curious how Almeida will approach this fight too. I don't think the swinging wild hooks things, it's just not going to be looking too good for him for rounds 2 and 3 if he invests in that so early. We're also looking at an age advantage and home field advantage for William Gomis as well. So I think it all kind of plays in. They want there's French fighters on the card. They want them to win. So yeah, Gomis by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Manion Farrow versus Rose Namajunas. In my opinion, whoever wins this fight should face Aaron Blanchfield for, like, number 1 contender fight. Or if there's a finish in this fight by either person, immediate title shot. So, we're gonna go with Rose here. Farrow, she's good. She's very good. She's gonna be way bigger than Rose, I think, as well. But I just think the hands of Farrow don't look like they're as prepared for this style of a matchup. And this is going to be a close fight. I could see this one being a split decision in the end. And there's a lot of red flags for Rose because she's, everyone knows the Carla fight, but also just kind of hasn't been the same fighter, in my opinion, since the last 2 Andrade fights. I mean, she got a quick head kick KO versus Zhang Weili, but she looks very hesitant to throw and scared of taking damage. Like, in her post-fight interview after the Carla fight, she's like, why do I have to fuck up my face every fight? It's like, you don't. You could just fucking abolish, or destroy your enemy, but I don't know. I'm probably shitting on her too much for picking her, but I'm going to take her by decision. It's be a close fight. I just think Rose has the better hands, and Farrell will just use her sidekick the entire time. I don't know if it's going to be enough damage to win the fight.
Yeah, I mean, that'll definitely be where this fight is determined who wins. I mean, I think Rose moving up a weight class, I think she'll be a lot faster than Firo, but it'll just be if she's able to get in the distance here and able to connect. Obviously, yeah, like you said, Firo's got those sidekicks and uses the range really well, but I think Rose will be a lot quicker here, and I think she will be able to close the distance and land the more significant strikes.
There's got to be good game plan ways around this too. Like, the lateral movement that Rose has could make it very difficult for those side kicks to land, because Rose rarely just sprints straight into somebody. So maybe that's an opportunity to make Farrell miss and then hit. I don't think there's going to be much grappling in this. I think Rose has pretty good takedown ability. I just don't know if it's going to translate to flyweight against one of the biggest flyweights. So I would expect a stand-up battle, and it might even, it's not too bold to say, but it might be a little boring just because both fighters have a lot on the line with the fight. So, yeah. Any more thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Rose could just be super hesitant, and yeah, that would definitely make it a boring fight.
Yeah. Namajunas by decision. Okay, for the main event, guys, we have Ciryl Gane versus Serghei Spivac. Before we make our pick, guys, please drop a like, subscribe this channel. We're on our way to 1,000. I'm trying to get there, and we need you guys' support. So, for the main event pick, we'll go with Ciryl Gane. And I'm not confident in it at all because you guys know why. The grappling. I think this is a fight where Serghei Spivac has fought in a lot of fat guys that he can throw over pretty easily. With Derek Lewis, Sakai, Greg Hardy, these guys just aren't really grapplers. And I'm not saying Ciryl Gane's a great grappler, but getting beat by John Jones pretty easily when you're already not great at grappling is a bad sign. And then Gane really didn't, I think he said he didn't really even train wrestling that much before the Jones fight. And if you're facing Serghei Spivac, that's all you have to be training. So he's got to make some change, at least a little bit. I would expect, but who fucking knows? We'll go with him in a knockout in round 4. I think this could be like a staring match round 1. But I think Gane just touches him with the jab. Maybe even takes this one to a decision. Just touches him with the jab most of the fight. The teep to the body. And that's kind of how he wins this fight. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to predict. I mean, you can't really be too confident either way here. I mean, it just all comes down to Spivac can find those takedowns, and I mean, I think Gane. He's got to improve the ground game. You'd think, right? But
maybe. Let's see. I got to post it. When's the last time? That was on March 4th. So it's August 26th. Do the math. That's like 4 or 5 months. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the way he wins is playing his distance game and leg kicking, jabbing, and moving, using that footwork. But yeah, if he loses, he's going to be getting taken down and submitted. So. Yeah,
the scare too is just because Serghei Spivac could have one big throw, and it could be like, boom, Gane's right on his back, just because he kind of has that like judo type of throws that he doesn't really double leg anybody. And then Jones, like that fight, I was wrong, we'll say it out loud. We picked Gane. It was the first punch that Gane missed that went straight to the ground. It was just first punch he missed and maybe second punch, but Jones just grabs his hips instantly and then tap way too quick, didn't fight the hands on the cage. And other thing you have to think is, can Spivac fight a 5-rounder trying to do his grappling? It's going to be tough as a heavyweight as well. So we'll see. Ciryl Gane, KO, round 4. Don't go away. We'll go over our bets now. Okay, guys, let's do a quick recap of UFC Singapore, Holloway versus the Korean Zombie. Went positive 0.08 units. I was a little bit disappointed. I think we could have done quite a bit better. Starting it off, Garrett Armfield, easy money. No question in that one. I mean, Kazama looked like shit. Garrett Armfield was extremely accurate. Those Japanese fighters, other than Nakamura, they had a bad night. So, yeah, easy money there. Should have put more on him, but gets his first UFC win. Jarno Aarons, a little bit all over the board. Gets a crazy knockdown in round 2, but then lays in half guard and lets Choi recover. Did not enjoy watching that portion. And then missed a lot of his strikes. Choi did a good job though as well. He countered him when Jarno ran in, and inexperience showed. Going down further, Giga and Holloway. I thought Giga didn't look that great. I did think he won all 3 rounds. Obviously, it wasn't like a crazy margin that he won each round, but Seemed to do more damage. I thought he looked a little bit slow, looked like he missed quite a lot of punches, and really bad on his back foot. I thought he looked worse than usual, but Max Holloway, nothing really need to be said there. Down further, Kinoshita and Billy Goff, the easiest bet of a lifetime, right?
Yep.
Just pressure.
We also beat a ton of line movement.
Oh, yeah, crazy amount. Kinoshita, I mean, looked extremely slick in this fight. Like, Billy Goff is fucking Drew Dober, Chad Dober, or whatever. Like, he just eats the punches, keeps coming forward, he doesn't care. I think his days are numbered at some point, but he only had, Billy Goff had, one or two good jabs, and then it was that one body shot pretty much in the end of the fight. I still think Kinoshita's okay, but that was a good win. Easy under. Second under, Choi and Aarons. Like I said, Aarons got hurt in the first round. Choi got dropped in the second round. Aarons got hurt 2 or 3 times in the third, just no finish. A little bit unfortunate there. Again, grappling will ruin these unders. And then speaking of the one that drove us probably the most crazy, Anthony Smith, Ryan Spann goes over 1.5 rounds, ruining our bet. The worst part about it was Ryan Spann had the knockdown punch and then the flying knee that didn't really land. But then it's thrown to the ground. Anthony Smith is kind of covering up, and then Ryan Spann is searching for a guillotine instead of just punching him out. Then it results in Ryan Spann losing the decision, which, he just wasn't very smart for. So, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, we know he has bad IQ, but I mean, I didn't know it was 0.
Yeah, and
I mean, that was mind-boggling to me. I mean, he was turtling up, covering up, waiting to get finished, and then you didn't throw any strikes.
Right. And I don't really care who won the fight. I mean, if it's robbery or not. No, I don't think Ryan Spann put a stamp on round 3, and Anthony Smith kind of did. I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. Neither of these guys are going to get a title shot or anything. So, but yeah, disappointing. I don't know why Ryan Spann doesn't just jab that fucking balloon into the eye for 7.5 minutes either. Just kind of bizarre. And then the long shot parlay fell apart based on those two, but it was a decent card. I thought there were some good fights. Let's see. Mikhail Olajaychik, I mean, goddamn, that dude's just such a dog. Chidi and Jokawani just does not do well after a little bit of punishment, and then he folded him. The Lukasz Brzeski fall from his knockout was kind of a horrible or hilarious moment.
He's not looking so good when he's off the sauce now.
Brzeski? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He was on the
Brzeski.
sauce?
Yeah, that's why his Contender Series fight was overturned to no contest.
Shit. I don't know. I don't know if he's a dope smoker or something. Junior Tafa knocking out Parker Porter, kind of funny. Aaron Blanchfield versus Talia Santos, horrible fight. Neither one should get a title shot, in my opinion, but they seem, I don't know, people seem to be in love with Aaron Blanchfield. I'm kind of surprised. Talia Santos just threw too many strikes in round 1 and missed way too many and got tired. Fernie Garcia laid on his back, tried not to get submitted, and did not, and Nakamura looks like a great prospect. And it's not too crazy. The zombie's done, but that walkout was pretty awesome when the crowd's all behind him, so good to see that. Any more thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, could they give him a better opponent maybe for his retirement fight?
Yeah, I mean, he said he was going to do it based on how the fight went, and then in round 3, he was like, shit, I'm retiring. I'm coming out, I'm going to retire. And then I thought it was funny, too, okay, the zombie going crazy should hype up the commentators and stuff, but he missed 8 strikes in a row, and they're like, oh, he's going after Max, he's getting him! And then Max just flatlines him, so that was a little funny. Anyway, though, our bets for the next card should be out on Thursday. Stay tuned. Any more thoughts from you?
We got Sean Strickland here coming up in 2 weeks from today.
Future white trash champion.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
There
Anyway. Peace.
Peace.
I know. It doesn't matter from the trenches. I'm built like this. The aunt down to me said I couldn't do it. The aunt said I couldn't do it.